gentlemen, please welcome the man who thought a court-martial was a tennis umpire, Craig Charles.
Welcome to the special edition of Robot Wars. And congratulations on tuning in to what is going to be the mechanical mother of all wars, the Annihilator. Yes, gathered here today are the most destructive, brutal and downright devastating robots from the last 4 series of Robot Wars. If Vinnie Jones was a robot, he'd be cowering in his tool shed. Now, the way the Annihilator works is simple. All of our 6 robots are thrown in the arena together. There they fight until one of them is clearly eliminated or time runs out. With one robot annihilated, the survivors are then given time to make repairs before all 5 prepare to do battle again. It's 6 down to 5, down to 4, and so on, until 2 robotic gods enter one decisive battle. This week, all of our robots are from the north, so let's see who's up to the challenge.
Oh yes, Craig, at the top there we have Spikosaurus, then the reigning UK champions Chaos 2. Reading clockwise from then on, War Veteran, Suicidal Tendencies, the Axe of Dominator 2, the crazy world of Stinger. It kills, it hurts, it's killer hurts.
This is the Annihilator. 6 robots go into the arena for a no-holds-barred battle, and only one will come out alive. It's going to be mayhem. Starting up, we have the Northern rounds. This is Spikosaurus. It's got 2 fixed 12-inch spikes here. It self-rights, and it can pull a car. From Lincoln, we have Stinger, designed by 3 engineers. The motors are in here. When it slows down, that's when the arm flips over, and if it puts it into reverse, you get a real sting from that. Ouch. Kilohertz. This has got a unique car driving system. Most of them work like a tank, but this one's got a car, so it should have better drivability, we hope. They've also got a pneumatically powered axe there, which will come down with about a ton of pressure, so I hear. On suicidal tendencies, no doubt. Now, we've got a pneumatic lifting fork there with spikes. That's going to be painful. That's bulletproof polycarbonate. It works both ways up. And this one I've had dreams about. It's Dominator! Plasma nitride coated titanium, that, which makes it very durable indeed. They've also got a pneumatic axe, which will come down with about a ton of pressure. That's like a Land Rover landing on your foot. And they're up against the reigning champions, Chaos 2. They pump liquid CO2 into their flipper, which gives it that awesome action that we've seen before, where robots get tossed straight out of the arena. So this really will separate the men from the boys and the bots from the toys.
Yes, folks, we've seen some pretty ferocious fighting on Robot Wars, but this promises to be the most exciting yet. So if you're ready to rumble, let the annihilation begin!
From Lincoln, seed number 30, Stinger.
They had steering problems in Series 3, went straight into a pit after 50 seconds. This is a spinning, whirling dervish with a venomous axe, customised motorbike wheels, a top speed of 18 miles an hour, and it's seeded 30. Very quick across the arena floor, but when the wheels stop, the axe comes down with mighty power. Virtually indestructible, difficult to get hold of. Difficult to steer, yes, but when it spins, look at the power of that axe once again. Watch out for Stinger. This one's going to go very close in the Annihilator.
This is Carl Skinner, and I'm Kevin Scott from the Stinger team. We've got a really strong robot here, but we're up against 6 of the toughest robots in the series. We're going to go in there, we're going to give them hell, and we're going to kill them.
From Huntington, Dominator 2.
The motto of this team is ram it, hit it, push it. 2 industrial motors generating up to 20 miles an hour. Pneumatic axe is the weapon, a plasma nitride-coated titanium shell. Now you know. A unique bi-wedge shape, speed across the arena floor, good control as well, manoeuvrability, and then you've got that pneumatic axe slamming down. Certainly too strong for shadow of napalm there. Dominator 2, a 0 turning circle, can spin the rest into oblivion.
Hi, welcome to the Dominator team. I'm Pete, the captain. Got Paul, weapons man, Chris, the auxiliary man. Paul's now going to tell you a bit about the robot.
Right, this is Dominator 2. Plasma nitride coated titanium shell, 1.8mm thick, nothing goes through it. 150 psi, pneumatic axe, axes its way through all 5 competitors in this Annihilator round.
From Oxford, seeded number 16, Kilohertz.
The hardened steel blade and pneumatic axe have proved too much for too many in the past. 2 motors, wheels from go-karts. Can the killer hurt once again?
We're just about to go into a big fight, 5 robots. I come from a family of 5, so I think I'm used to fighting for every bit of food on the table. I think we'll survive.
Looking forward to using our new improved axe. Poke a few holes in people. Should be fun.
From Derby, seeded number 31, Suicidal Tendencies.
Seeded because the Tendencies has a dangerous toothpick axe and front fork lifter. The shell is bulletproof, it runs on tracks of aluminium. Is it on track for success here, though? Heavy, powerful, tenacious. Two 1400-watt motors. Those tracks give it drive and punishing penetration, as Maverick and Wheelosaurus found out.
Hi, I'm Charles Binns, this is Andrew Jeffrey, and this is Suicidal Tendencies. We're going into a battle with 6 robots soon. We've got a big axe, going to take some chunks out of people, some big lifters at the front, titanium, track, very powerful. Somebody's going to get hurt in there, and hopefully it's not going to be us, and we're going to win and we're going to survive.
From Manchester, Spikosaurus.
A spiky character indeed, with its two 12-inch prongs of high tensile steel and an interchangeable ramming bar, can pull a car, can race 17 miles an hour, but can it take punishments?
Hi, we're Team Spikosaurus. I'm Stuart, my brother Andrew, friend Andrea. This is the most awesome robot in Annihilator today. We've got roll bars, so if we do get tipped up, we can roll straight back over. We've got 2 awesome spikes on the front. They will just pierce through any armour and damage all sorts of weaponry inside. And we're just going to kick some robot butt.
From Ipswich, seed number 1 and reigning champion, Chaos 2.
Finalists in Series 1, overall winner of Series 3. The gas-powered flipper is one of the strongest weapons we've ever seen. Top seeds for the main competition here, it'll create Chaos 2. And at the controls of Chaos 2, George Francis, a self-employed electronics engineer, and a Robot Wars legend, Crocodilatron, Sonic, Big Cheese, Trident, Mace, Firestorm, Hypnodisc. It didn't matter who was against it in the last series. Have a look at this for power against the Firestorm. Over, and out you go. That's Chaos 2. That's the power. Not even Hypnodisc could stop it.
Hi, we're Chaos 2 team, hoping to flip our way through the Annihilator round. I'm George, this is Ian, and his son Richard.
Main features of our robot are very good traction and an extremely powerful flipper. That's why we're the number 1 seed.
Roboteers, stand by.
Plenty of opposition, though, from Suicidal Tendencies and Spikosaurus there. And Stinger, of course. All 3 teams together in the one cabin. Suicidal Tendencies on the left. There's Big Stuart Pearson of Spikosaurus and Carl Skinner of Stinger. Dominator 2, the Cambridgeshire team. They all work together. And Kilohertz, the reigning domestic champions, Chaos 2. There's George Francis on the right-hand side. Kilohertz in the middle. Dominator 2 on the left.
3, 2, 1.
This is going to be chaos. Good luck, everyone. There's Chaos 2 immediately on the attack. Dominator 2 in there as well with a big action. Dominator 2 flicked up on its side by Suicidal Tendencies. Suicidal Tendencies nearly went over at the same time. Let's have a look at it again. Chaos 2 in the midst of it all. Up went Dominator 2 and over. Suicidal Tendencies very nearly flicked up, but don't forget, it can work both sides up the track. Suicidal Tendencies, there's Kilohertz with its axe as well. You can see Bash retreating into its CPZ, and why not? Stinger with the axe in there as well. Chaos 2 with the CO2-powered battering ram. Dominator 2's okay. Whoa, there's the reigning champions, Chaos 2, slamming in on Suicidal Tendencies. Kilohertz is in there as well. Here comes Dominator 2, bottom of your picture. Now it seems to me that Spikosaurus is in a little bit of trouble, but okay now. Goodness me, look at that. There's Spikosaurus in there. You've got Chaos 2 as well. Dominator 2, the bottom of your picture. Stinger doing its own thing as it's wont to do. That's Spikosaurus in major trouble. Seems to me that Kilohertz is holding on. Tendencies comes in. Stinger now under threat from Chaos 2. Turning away. And Spikosaurus has been impaled by the axe of Kilohertz. Kilohertz 2! Flicked over by Dominator 2. Axe to axe. Metal to metal. Bash and crash. Smash. What is happening out there? The hopes and dreams about to be scuttled have won in the Annihilator. It's Kilohertz up on its side and bounce. And just about came down okay, using its axe to right itself. Almost Kilohertz. Then in goes Spikosaurus. Kilohertz Okay, now, Stinger in with a slam on Chaos 2. Chaos 2 in underneath Kilohertz again. They think Kilohertz is the vulnerable machine. Chaos 2 against the arena wall and is impaled, is it? Can George Francis get that flipper off? Well, Dominator 2, a little nudge helped out. The object, boys, is to destroy each other. I wonder if Dominator 2 will rue that little bit of friendship. Look at the crashing of the axes. The flipper there. You've got suicidal tendencies trundling. Once again, Kilohertz trying to right itself into the CPZ, flicked in there by Chaos 2. And so far for me, Kilohertz has been the most punished robot. It's into the CPZ, it's stuck in there. And Kilohertz trying to flick, trying to turn itself over with that pneumatically powered axe. But Kilohertz in major trouble. Chaos 2 comes in with a slam. And bam! And Kilohertz 2, I think, is going to be first to go in the Annihilator. Each round, one crashes out, piggyback up on Chaos 2 as it's immobilised for 30 seconds or more. If it goes to the judges, the rest of them just staying out of trouble. Bash comes in for a look. There's Dominator 2 with the pickaxe. This Stinger... Stinger loves a little bit of a rumble and a tussle. Sometimes I don't know what the Stinger boys are doing. I don't think they know what they're doing either. Dominator 2 out there, Chaos 2 as well. Kilohertz, well, back in the thick of the action. And we still have all 6 competing. Chaos 2 takes punishment right through the front flipper there from Dominator 2. The wheels of the Dominator spin, but Chaos 2 is in all sorts of problems now. Top of the picture, Spikosaurus. And suicidal tendency. In comes Dominator again. And suddenly it's the Chaos top seeds, the reigning UK champions, who are up against it. Now we've got to push and shove. At top of the picture, they've Dominated 2 and Spikosaurus. Kilohertz, I thought they were out, but they're back in really in the thick of things. So are Chaos 2 now. You've got the house robots into play in that CPZ. Look at this, a real tug of war here, and still they battle on bravely. Not one machine will give up, but Chaos 2 has taken unprecedented damage from the axe of Kilohertz. Look at this again, it's Dominator 2 inflicting punishment. 1 and 2, and the Perspex comes off the bat there of Chaos 2, which means now, of course, the machinery, the very heart of Chaos, is vulnerable to attack. Dominator 2 lifts that Perspex lid up like some grisly scalp trophy. Chaos 2, they're all after the reigning UK champions, it seems. They're ganging up. Get rid of the strongest machine, get rid of the favourite. We'll gang up and we'll see who goes through. Dominator 2 in space, about to come in for an attack, but Chaos 2. George Francis, I don't think he knows what's hit him. You've now got Shunt in there to create more damage. Stinger, the axe comes battering down on Shunt, but it's Chaos 2. All of a sudden, the likely machine to go out of the first stage of the Great Annihilator, the northern section. In goes Spikosaurus to try and push suicidal tendencies out of the melee, out of the mayhem. Chaos 2 is their movement, is their life. Goodness me, I don't think there was. He doesn't either. Well, massively important axes and 3-mech self-righting mechanisms in this to create damage and also to right yourself like Kilohertz there. For one moment I thought Kilohertz were going out, but no, they survived. Now, key issue here for me, Chaos did not have enough freedom of the arena to build up an attack, to build up speed, to get the flipper into play, and then it took unprecedented damage. Look at that. Absolutely punctured and peppered and destroyed Chaos 2. A huge surprise. Out goes George Francis. Out go the favourites in many people's eyes. But look who's left. Spikosaurus, Kilohertz, Stinger, Dominator 2, they look dangerous. And suicidal tendencies, of course.
Now that is what I call chaos.
Well, that was an Annihilator round, and we got annihilated.
Too right you did.
We are vulnerable to axes, and we got hit by just about every axe in the house.
They just ganged up on you, didn't they?
Yes, they did, never mind.
I mean, everybody wanted a pop at the reigning champion. Not surprising, really, is it?
Not at all.
Great fun.
It was tremendous fun.
It makes a change for you to actually see your robot take some damage, doesn't it?
We've got to mend it now.
I know we've never seen them do any work at all on Robot Wars. It always comes out beautiful. And that is just phenomenal. I mean, you've got a massive hole in the back there. Who was the meanest?
Covers in two halves now.
Who did the most damage to you?
I don't know. Dominator was in there. Kilohertz was in there.
Yeah.
Sean had to go as well, did he?
The house robots always pop up at you as well, don't they?
Yeah.
A lot of damage on the superficial damage, but I think the relays are broken here, which is why we stopped.
I expect you're quite glad that you're out. You don't have to fix that one up for the next battle.
That's true, yes.
Look at me lucky stone in my hand.
Oh, did you not have it?
I've got it in my pocket, but I didn't have
It's
it
not
in
good
my
enough,
hand.
Richard. It's great to see you, Annihilator, I have to say. You can hit me later, but it was wonderful. It was really good to see you up against some fair opponents. It's just a shame it took 5 of them to do it to you, really, isn't it?
And so, after that first tremendous tussle, 5 robots have got to go through it all again. And why do I get the feeling some of them wish they'd stayed in bed? Let the annihilation begin!
Roboteers, stand by.
The famous 5 for our overhead camera, Suicidal Tendencies and Spikosaurus. And then, of course, that mad thing, Stinger. The team again in the same cubbyhole. There's Carl Skinner on the right-hand side, Stuart Pearson. And then Andrew, Jeffrey and Charles Binns with Suicidal Tendencies. There's Dominator 2. Looked good, didn't it? And Kilohertz, slightly vulnerable, but the axe came into play. A little bit more room in their cubbyhole. Dominator 2 on the right. And John Reed at the controls of Kilohertz.
2, 1, activate.
I wonder if 9-year-old Richard Swan from Chaos 2 has passed on his lucky stone to someone else. Stinger, perhaps. Immediately punished and a little bit lucky to survive, some might say. The drive from Kilohertz into the CPZ. Stinger now arriving on the scene in the middle of the melee. You've got Spikosaurus to the left-hand side. Dominator 2 again. This time clutching hold of Stinger almost on the axle. Spikosaurus trying to get those 2 front ramming, prodding spikes underneath the opponents. Then there were 5. This is Kilohertz under pressure from Dominator 2 with the bi-wedge shape. Impressive so far. The axe comes down on Kilohertz and on the arena floor. There you've got Spikosaurus, game so far, attacking Kilohertz up by the CPZ, and the others have sent here. The Kilohertz can again be in trouble. Look at the axe. It's smacked straight down through the split in the, see-through shell of Kilohertz. And you can see all in there now, in grisly detail. Kilohertz freeing itself with its own axe. Not the first time we've seen that in the Annihilator. It's dogged and determined, to say the least. Spikosaurus' game, isn't it? Unwise to take on the Sergeant in the big game, though. Stinger's axe comes down. They've stayed out of trouble. In fact, we haven't seen a great deal of them. I wonder, if that initial onslaught affected Stinger. We're going to check on the manoeuvrability of it in a minute. Meanwhile, the Sergeant comes in and attacks. Poor old Kilohertz. Everyone's been after them. Yes, Kilohertz pins its axe onto the flamethrower of the Sergeant. Look at that, he's been dragged around the arena floor on the shell of the Sergeant. It is actually Dominator 2 gives a little shunt and a bash. But Stinger, do you see there? I think Stinger going around in circles. I wonder if they've lost traction, manoeuvrability in one of those customised motorbike wheels. The flame scorches Kilohertz shell. Matilda comes in for a little bit of the action. But to me, you can just see the axe, but a little more of Stinger. In comes Dominator 2, Suicidal Tendencies in there as well, with the tracks moving away, so they're all right. We know Dominator 2's okay, because we can see the axe. We know Kilohertz hanging on for grim death with the Sergeant, and flammable, it would seem, surviving the flame torch pit. Now, Matilda just gives Kilohertz a little bit of a nudge up and over. Kilohertz will have to use the big axe to right itself. Now, go on! John Reed, great design this, great driving up and over, and that could be crucial. Kilohertz could just have survived right at the end. Well, let's have a look at this, because this is the whole crucial aspect of this section. I think that initial onslaught put Stinger out. There you see at the top of the picture, Stinger not going anywhere. Kilohertz took all the punishment. You see Stinger, it's not going anywhere, just round and round in circles. Stinger, for me, immobilised. We'll have to check on the official results. Suicidal Tendencies in play. This was great, wasn't it? And there you have it, confirmed. Stinger, yes, they were immobilised. Yes, they're out. And then there were 4, Spikosaurus, Kilohertz, Dominator 2, and Suicidal Tendencies.
Stinger and the Engineers team. Now, your robot basically is 2 robots, isn't it, with a receiver in each of these motors here, which works from the same controller.
Yep.
Which makes your driving a little twitchy sometimes. So what happens? If one of them goes, basically the robot's messed up, isn't it?
Yeah, it got knocked very hard right at the start by Kilohertz, but that was good because we were coming back, fighting back. But we got a spike. We got a spike through the tyre, came down here, and obviously these tyres always were the sort of potential weak bit.
And they carry the aerials in there, don't they?
We hadn't told anybody that before, but that's it. It's taken out the aerial and just killed the wheel.
Ah.
No other damage at all. No other damage whatsoever.
Oh, it's a shame.
This whole show, there's been no damage to this machine whatsoever, but a little bit of rubber and a little bit of wire. That's all it goes.
It's all about positioning, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to have everything secure, and we thought it would be secure in there.
We thought it would. It's under sort of tough rubber, but you know they've been spiked once or twice. We've had to do 1 tyre change earlier on, but we got away with no aerial problem.
Couldn't you have had the aerial inside the wheel?
Kills the reception. We've been around all sorts of different aerial systems, and this was the one that worked.
Right.
And unfortunately, yeah.
Until today it worked, yeah. We'll have to come back next year with a different design.
It'll be lower tyres, domes right up the top, just leaving an inch of rubber exposed. This whole thing was going to have 10-inch wheels, but we couldn't pack the motors in, so that had 12-inch.
And so we're down to 4. And already some of our robots, like they've been 5 rounds with a Sherman tank. Well, only the big guns will survive to the next round as we let the annihilation begin.
Stand by.
The formidable 4 Suicidal Tendencies and Kilohertz. There at the controls, John Reed on the right of Kilohertz, and Charles Binns, Andrew Jeffries, Suicidal Tendencies, Dominator 2. Very good so far, and Spikosaurus. Big Stuart Pearson there at the right of the controls. We've got Peter Halloway, Chris Hall, Paul Tolliday, the Dominator team.
2, 1.
And after this one, I wonder whose trade secrets Jules will tell the nation. You've got Spikosaurus immediately on the attack, Dominator 2 backing away. More room now on that arena floor. Now, I wonder if the tactics will change. Still, axe to axe, but Suicidal Tendencies, you know, has ground its way through the couple of battles we've had so far. And it's still in there with Spikosaurus. The 2 low-gravity machines against the 2 axed machines. Oh, look at that, Kilohertz. Let the axe slip straight into the bi-wedge shape of Dominator 2. Now you've got Suicidal Tendencies backed onto the arena wall. In comes Spikosaurus again, dodging around the 2 more dangerous, certainly higher-rated machines with the axes. Oh, a slam there from Dominator 2. Again going for that vulnerable slot. Now you've got Dominator 2 taking on Suicidal Tendencies. Go on, run away. We'll live to fight another day. And Spikosaurus, look at this, coming in again on a ramming run. I thought this would happen once the gaps of the arena started to emerge. Can get up to 17 mile an hour, Spikosaurus, and you've got 80 kilos there of weight behind each attack. And Spikosaurus could yet spring a surprise here in the Annihilator. To the right-hand side now, Cages, who watches Dominator 2 go on the attack, and then comes in for a side slam on the plasma nitride-coated titanium shield of Dominator 2. And once again, it's Spikosaurus doing the work until the great power axe of Dominator 2 comes down again on Kilohertz. How long can Kilohertz and John Reed survive this punishment? Throughout the 3 battles we've seen, it's all about take on Kilohertz. And is there one of the throngs buckled of Suicidal Tendencies? Are they immobilised? Kilohertz, are they immobilised? Will the judges be called into play? There's the ref bot coming to have a quick look. But to me, Suicidal Tendencies are going nowhere. And it's a question here of damage limitation. And Dominator 2 thrust up on the point of the triangle, comes bashing down. It was Matilda, the final shove with the tusks there. You can see the soft, vulnerable underbelly of Dominator 2. And it came a rocking and a reeling. And plop now using the axe to right itself. Very, very important in Annihilator, but for me, suicidal tendencies, they're out. Let's all have a go at Kilohertz, shall we? Again. That suicidal tendencies being slammed by Spikosaurus. Was it there or there? The suicidal tendencies ended. No, they were still alive at that point. Kilohertz under more pressure from Dominator 2 and Spikosaurus. They've been valiant so far. And then the very end, of course, Dominator 2 riding itself. Suicidal tendencies, they're out. Immobilised the tendencies, and I thought they were underdogs. But look at the big three left. Spikosaurus, Kilohertz, and Dominator 2. Frighteningly still there.
Well, it was suicide going in with that lot, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I think it was suicide going in with... We had no rubber on the tracks and things weren't quite working just right.
Because this is the best track Robot on Robot Wars, isn't it?
Supposedly, yeah.
And what damage did you take?
Yeah, axes, everything. There's holes all over the front here and down the side. So that was mainly cosmetic, but we had a problem in that fight where the battery lead just sort of dropped off and we just stopped dead, so we couldn't defend ourselves. But luckily they went easy on us, I think.
Now, you've got to go home, boys, but is there anybody that you'd like to come back and have a pop at?
Dominator, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Watch out, Dominator, it could be a grudge match.
And so just 3 robots remain. But you know what they say? 2's company, 3's a crowd, so 1's going to get mashed, and it's going to be loud. Let the annihilation begin.
Roboteers, stand by.
Killalot awaits the terrible trio Spikosaurus and Dominator 2. Stuart Pearson on the left there, the Dominator 2 team. Paul Tolliday controls the weapon, and of course Kilohertz from Oxford. And there's John Reed. Oh, the dancing going on there perhaps.
Activate.
So who will survive? The Axes again will be favourites. And will they try and knock each other out? Dominator 2 doing what it has done for most of the Annihilator coming in. And look at that, immediately gas being vented from Kilohertz. It means the pneumatically powered axe will not work, I shouldn't think now. And Kilohertz finally will succumb, surely. You've got Spikosaurus dodging away, Dominator 2 across the flame pit, not bothered by it. Poor old Kilohertz. Throughout this great heave-ho upheaval of a contest, everyone seems to have had it in for poor old Kilohertz. Dominator 2 with the axe, Spikosaurus with the front prongs. A little bit of toing and throwing, but it knows Kilohertz. Time is nigh. And so is Killalot with the greatest strength of them all to push out of the CPZ. There you've got Stuart Pearson at the controls of Spikosaurus. More gas being vented from Kilohertz. Spikosaurus in there at the rear. Killalot just having a little tickle on Spikosaurus and Matilda too, just to come out with a little thrust. Spikosaurus needs to stay out of danger because look at this, the claw of Killalot. I wonder if Spikosaurus can free itself from Kilohertz, or whether the spike has embedded itself so deeply into the back of Kilohertz they can't get away. Well, Killalot could have a remedy for that. I'll cut your spike off. That claw can cut through virtually anything. And now it has Kilohertz in its grasp. Killalot dragging the claw over the top of Kilohertz. It's actually free Kilohertz there, but they've slammed into the arena wall. And now surely they are immobilised and out Kilohertz. A rotten way to end. Really the victim of arena bullying in Robot Wars. Let's have a look at this again. Right from the start, Dominator 2. Let's make no pretense about this. Trying to kill off Kilohertz. And that was when the gas was vented. No power then in the weapon of Kilohertz. Back against the walls, trying to hang on in there grimly. Down came the weapon of Dominator 2. Look at the punishment. Sustained. That was when Spikosaurus got impaled. Killlock came in, freed the two of them, but no way back for Kilohertz from then on in. Slamming against the arena wall. Hurt or be hurt? That's your answer.
Well, Kilohertz turned into a teabag by Dominator 2. Kilohertz annihilated! I got an axe right in your gas bottle, didn't it?
Yes, well, by the end of that, we were just so tired, John drove it up to the barrier and was just praying for it to open so we could get out of there. We were getting mangled.
You were seriously taking some damage there, weren't you?
Yeah, we'd been through 3 fights before, we were just getting a bit tired, wanted to go home.
2,000 perforations in every robot.
I think so.
I think you should take your robot home, pour some hot water over it and have a nice cup of tea.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what she needs.
Unlucky, guys. Let's hear it for the Kilohertz team!
It hurts, so they are getting used to it. Dominator did a lot of damage, didn't they?
They did, indeed. They had a good old go at us. We're looking a bit like a Swiss cheese plant at the moment. Full of holes everywhere.
And that's just the outside. And in here, we've got...
There's a hole right through the cylinder case here, but it was working. That happened 2 fights ago, but it's still working.
And a massive hole in that cylinder there. That's your gas cylinder.
Lots and lots of bad things have happened to us.
That's what we're all about. Out they go, and we have now just the two. Spikosaurus against Dominator 2, a fascinating contrast in styles and robots.
It's the plasma nitride coated titanium boys back for the finals. Now, you've done incredibly well. You've really smashed some other robots to bits. What's it like being an Annihilator? How does it differ from the normal battles?
There's far less pressure, more fun, more things to smash up, basically.
Which is perfect for a robot like yours, which is literally designed for destruction.
Yes.
And why is your axe shining?
We've coated it in silicone grease to stop it sticking into the opponent, and comes out a lot easier. More hits per minute.
I'd like to say this one more time. That is plasma nitride coated titanium. It's the toughest thing we've seen on Robot Wars, and it could lead them to victory. Well, we heard you were having problems, but you're looking quite calm now. Are you going to make it back into that arena?
Oh yeah, we've patched it up. We're going to dominate Dominator 2, and we're going to send them flying.
So what was the problem you were having? I mean, you took a lot of damage from Dominator in that last battle.
Well, we had Kilohertz up against the ropes, and Sir Kilowatt just came over and toasted us, you know. Hit us where it hurts.
Exactly, but you're fixed. You're ready to dominate the Dominator. It's the finals, so zoop it up and get in that arena.
We're back.
Excellent.
Together they battled through. That was Chaos 2, expected to go far, but immediately out. You see their Spikosaurus leading others a merry dance, and of course the axe of Dominator 2, axe to axe with Kilohertz. At that stage, Chaos 2 looked dangerous, but there, look at the punishment. The venom of Dominator 2. Out went Chaos 2. Next to go was Stinger, there in the middle of your picture. Then look at the spikes of Spikosaurus, the durability, the strength, the tenacity of Dominator 2. Spikosaurus trundled. Out went Stinger. Out went Suicidal Tendencies next. Slammed, mainly by Spikosaurus twice. Immobilized. Then it was Dominator 2, punishing, penetrating Kilohertz with its axe. Still in there fighting Spikosaurus, avoiding danger. Who will be the more dominant, the more dangerous in the final?
What a war it's been. Since our 6 robots entered the arena, it's been nothing but repairs. I don't even think Shares had that much bodywork done. But despite the carnage, 2 robots have battled for survival. Either that or they kept well out of the way. But there's no hiding place now, no hiding at all, as we decide who will be crowned our Annihilator champion of the North. Let the final annihilation begin.
From Huntington, Dominator 2. From Manchester, Spikosaurus. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
The dastardly duo come head-to-head in the Annihilator final. Dominator 2 side on there with Spikosaurus. Now that's very, very interesting tactics by Dominator 2 immediately, because they know they cannot allow Spikosaurus to have a clean run against their flanks. They turn, they come on the attack. There's the axe coming down, clutching on to the ribs of Spikosaurus, and then they get in a telling blow. Meanwhile, Dead Metal claws Dominator 2 away and across the arena floor. The ref bot looking on. Oh, and it's punctured the back there of Dominator 2, who come on the attack of Spikosaurus immediately, drenched it across the arena floor in towards the House Robots, but in doing so, then Dominator 2 was vulnerable from Dead Metal. They may be spinning, they may be grinning, but who has sustained punishment there? Who is in trouble? Dominator 2 just waiting to see if Spikosaurus can come out to play. Come out, wherever you are. Down comes the axe onto the top there of Spikosaurus. Spikosaurus, of course, the lower robot, lower centre of gravity. They're round about the same width, round about the same length, to be honest. Spikosaurus, the slower, but not by much. The heavier, but not by much. And certainly it seems to be the weaponry of Dominator 2 is the more effective. Will they win the Northern Annihilator? 6 bots went to Mo. 5 spikes, 4 axes, 3 controllers, 2 are left. Who will survive? In goes Dominator 2 with the pickaxe once and twice, trying to fracture that shell. Look at this. Again, bam! So it's Dominator 2, the more adventurous at the moment. Oh, and shunned very nearly. Black Spikosaurus up and away. Will that be a lesson to the acts of Dominator 2? Peter Halloway, Chris Hall and Paul Tolliday, a graphic artist by trade. Now what can he draw for the remaining seconds of this The Annihilator final? He draws on strength, that's for one. There's the axe. That certainly is the most potent force in this Annihilator final. But Spikosaurus away. What's happened here to Dominator 2? They're on the arena flipper. Has he lost control? Has he lost momentum? That was the puncture earlier on in the final. Have they been immobilised here, Dominator 2? It would be a major surprise. There's grease on one of the wheels. Has something been fractured in there? But it looks to me as if Dominator 2 have finished and Spikosaurus the most unlikely winner of this Annihilator. Look at this, the House Robots come in, this Dead Metal with a great circular blade. Dominator 2, I thought they had this absolutely sewn up. Killalot in there as well. Dead Metal's pincers and Dominator 2, the trio there. No, they're out of it. There's the great jaws of life killers of Killalot. Dead Metal as well. The axe comes down of Shunt. What an end for Dominator 2. They seem well on top, and look at this. It may be grease, but grease lightning it ain't, because Killalot has plucked up the pickaxe of Dominator 2. The old death waltz we love to hear and see on Robot Wars. You came to annihilate Dominator 2 in the ultimate and final reckoning. You are annihilated, and the flipper will confirm it, surely. A couple of bounces, a couple of springs from the spring-loaded trapdoor, and Dominator 2 slams against the arena floor. Oh dear. The klaxon sounds, the death knell for Dominator 2. It is just to be fumbled and toyed with by the House Robots now. Pit, 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 they cry. The Spikosaurus team look on in victory. Unlikely. I must admit, it's taken me totally by surprise. I thought this would win it, Dominator 2. But not when you've got Killalot, and not when you've got Shunt, and not when you've got some problem with the mechanics. Dominator 2, you are through. Boo-hoo, no. Congratulations to Spikosaurus. Tenacious, competitive, dogged, and the champions.
Well, Spikosaurus luckier than the dinosaurs. Let's have a look at the highlights of that battle.
Immediate pressure on Spikosaurus. But all the way through this Annihilator contest, they have shown remarkable resilience. Dominator 2 was pierced and penetrated. I wonder if that was to come back and haunt it later on. But you see here, still on the attack against Spikosaurus. Didn't they take punishment throughout this Annihilator? I thought they'd gone there with Shunt. I thought they'd gone there when Dominator 2 came on the attack again. Look, there's barely life in Spikosaurus. But that was the moment that Kilowog came in. That was the moment that Dominator 2 was flipped. And that was the moment Dominator 2 was finished.
Well, that's the way it was. Let's talk to Dominator 2, our gallant losers. I bet you're gutted, aren't you?
Just a bit.
What happened?
We died.
You certainly did die, but you were on top. You were winning. It looked like it was your trophy.
Yeah, we backed off. We thought they were dead.
And they went.
They came back to life.
They came back to life, and you didn't. How come you died? What went wrong with the robot?
I think probably a battery's caved in. So.
Well, you know, you went from 6 robots, and you nearly made it.
We did.
You nearly made it. You made the final. Now you'll come back again, won't you?
Certainly will.
Nice to see you. Well, everyone's saying you were lucky, but you went from 6 robots, and you're the last one standing, so it can't be that much luck, can it?
Well, we had a lot of good luck. All the other robots helped us out along the way, I think. We just kind of stayed our distance for a lot of it, and came out top in the end. You know, we've got a reliable robot. It just keeps going.
Did you ever think you'd win the Annihilator?
No chance. Never in a million years.
Well, you've done well. Here's your trophy. Pick it up and show it to the crowd. Let's hear it for Spikosaurus! Well, there are prettier ways to settle old scores, but they're not as much fun as Robot Wars. Bye-bye.
And we're all revved up for another Annihilator tomorrow, 5:10 on BBC Two.